Welcome to Stonham Barnes Park, Suffolk's ultimate family entertainment destination. This podcast will take you on a journey of discovery of all our facilities and exciting events. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Welcome to you all, and thank you for joining me again on the Stonham Barnes Park podcast. I'm David Sandbell, the manager of the Events and Theatre team, and your resident host. In this episode, we talk about bikes at the Stonham Bike Nights, which runs every Thursday and rolls out this spring from the 8th of April. I'd like to introduce our special guest for this episode, Mark Warren. Mark has been a motorbike enthusiast for more than 50 years and co-organises the Stonham Bike Nights event with us. Hi Mark, how are you?
Hi David, and thanks for having me here.
No problem. Great to have a chat with you. So we launched the Bike Nights back last September, just before we all went into the lockdown and everything, and we managed to run it for about 3 or 4 weeks. How do you feel it went?
I think it was a brilliant success, considering we started off with nothing. We had about around 120 bikes attend the first evening, and by the fourth evening, although you missed one because of bad weather, we had just over 350 bikes. Bearing in mind that's just 4 events, that was really quite good.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing turnout, and I think everybody really enjoyed coming. I think also with the way that we only sort of promoted it through Facebook and word of mouth and everything, it seemed to work fantastically.
Yeah, we did. It did very well. We have quite a few sort of different sections of the motorcycling fraternity arrive. We've got clubs, we've got guys on very, very special bikes, customs, quads, you name it. It seems to turn up at Stonham Barnes.
We've got the space here to be able to do it. We've got the facilities here as well. So we've got the catering and we've got the bar, obviously, only for the pillion passengers. And we've got the space as well to be able to pretty much deal with as many bikes as want to turn up. So we're hoping for a really good turnout. We've also, hopefully, we're also going to have some sort of specialist bike groups turn up as well, aren't we, with the Speedway boys and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's a local superbike team as well, and hopefully I've got a few specials lined up as well. So, but we won't mention that until get a confirmation on that.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds interesting. I look forward to hearing exactly what that is. So, so a little bit about you, Mark. How long you been riding for? How did you get into it?
It was just for a bunch of friends when I was in my very early teens on the back of a bike. And then it just snowballed from there, sort of early Suzukis, the odd plodder just for commuting. But normally it's just the Suzukis, the Bandits, the 1200s, the GSXSs now. So been riding for well over 50 years. I had 7 years off with a bad accident, but luckily to my son, he waved his old bike keys in front of me and said, "Here, Dad, start off again after 7 years." So back with a vengeance now.
Oh, brilliant. Sounds fantastic. Yeah. Sounds really good. I mean, we're really looking forward to holding the event here. Everyone's, from what we can see, when we have the occasional bikes turn up and use some of the other facilities that we've got here, we're always mentioning it to them, making sure that they know about it, and they're going to speak to all their friends and their fellow riders and stuff like that to make sure that they come along. So, I mean, so go on, give me an estimate off the top of your head. What do you reckon? How many do you think we're going to have turn up at our first event?
On the first event, that's a difficult one, but I think everyone just wants to get out on the bike. So I would like to think we may well just beat our 350 of it from the best one that we had last year. But that's all down to weather and things like that at the end of the day. But fingers crossed. But it can only get bigger and better, considering the facilities we have at Stonham Barnes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where probably a lot better than just the general sort of bike meets that just turn up on the field and they haven't got anything there. That's why we've decided to put it on here. And obviously it just brings a lot of people into Stonham Barnes Park as well, which is what we want.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the riders probably wouldn't have been here before, and they'll be able to see what other facilities we've got here, be able to see the shows that we've got coming up over the summer and for the rest of the year. We've got the bike show on the 9th of May. It's all sort of leading up to that.
Yeah.
So we're going to run these bike shows. We're starting on the 8th of April. We're going to run them every Thursday night, starting at around about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, going through to about 9:30 in the evening. The showground is completely lit up as well, though the days will be getting longer and the nights will be getting shorter, so we should be all right for daylight. But we've got all that facility, and hopefully we're going to run it right the way through until the end of September, all being well. Who knows where we'll be by then? You know, we could end up having to turn people away at some stage, but that would be a nice thing to have.
Yeah, that would.
Looking back at the event that we had at the end of last year, then with the bikes, I mean, we had some fantastic bikes turn up, and a real array of different bikes. What were your thoughts on it?
I was surprised how many different bikes we got. We, from the half-size Honda MSX 125s up to the big Harley trikes, and everything in between. Plus the fact we will hopefully be having the local superbike team and the speedway bikes as well, who Keith Suffling, our resident photographer, he will be organising that because he actually takes all of their photographs too. So that should be a good evening.
That will be good. I seem to remember, I mean, as you say, we had at one stage, we had quite a big Harley group turn up.
That's right.
Who don't tend to go to anything but Harleys, but they seem to be quite happy to mix with everyone else.
We have been very well supported by some of the local Facebook pages, especially the Suffolk crew. I hope they will make that their weekly ride out to Stonham Barns.
Yeah, make it a destination that we're actually put on the calendar that on a Thursday night they come over to Stonham Barns Park, because that's where the bike meet is happening in Suffolk. I think that's where we want to get to and where we really want it to be. I mean, we had a couple of the big dragster bikes turn up, and I mean some of the ones with all the bells and whistles that were, they were fantastic.
We've also had some cracking two-stroke classics as well, the old Suzukis and the Yamahas, the Kawasaki's. It is such a venue because we just get so many different types of bikes, and that can only get bigger and better.
Yeah, and that's really good for the people that turn up as well, because they turn up on their preferred ride for that particular evening, but they also want to be here not only just to have somewhere to stop and possibly have something to eat and something to drink, but it's all about them being able to see what other bikes turn up as well, because, everyone just walks around and looks at each other's bikes and things like that. It is a real sort of mini event for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, and not forgetting the burgers and the fish and chips and, the soft drinks and whatever. It does make a great place to go for your bike night.
Yeah, and also, obviously, the most important thing, toilet facilities, decent toilet facilities. You always need those. I mean, last year when we were doing the show, we were making sure that we were giving a little card to every single biker that came in through the gate to make sure that they were doing their track and trace through the NHS, and everyone was really compliant with that. The council was completely happy with how we set that bike night out. So we're really hoping, even with the restrictions starting to be lifted now, that we're going to be able to carry on with it. We're going to be able to do it. We'll do it still under our COVID restrictions because, at the moment, we just need to make sure that we are just complying with everything that we need to. Council seems to be overly happy with what we're doing, which is great news. And then also, as I say, it's just going to get bigger and bigger as we go through the year, and we'll see where it takes us.
Excellent.
Okay, thanks very much for joining me, Mark, on this podcast. I look forward to seeing you at the beginning of April on our first bike night.
Well, thanks for the chat, David, and having me on. Really looking forward to it as well. So if anyone has a comment about seeing all the bikes again or perhaps some suggestions, please make a comment below.
Okay, certainly will do. All right, thanks very much, Mark.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The Stonham Barns Bike Nights will take place every Thursday from 5 p.m. until 9:30 p.m, hopefully starting on the 8th of April. It's free to enter and there's no need to book. All bikes, trikes and quads are welcome. Please check our website for updates and news, and you can follow our Stonham Barns Bike Nights on Facebook. Thanks for joining me on this episode, and we all look forward to seeing you soon.
Visit stonhambarns.co.uk for more information.